With me now is Deb Howlett. She's president of New Jersey Policy Perspective, a liberal think tank, and Governor Corzine's former press secretary, and, like me, an ex-reporter for the Star-Ledger of Newark. Deb, you're saying that the governor missed a lot of opportunities to get and find new money to bring to this budget so that it wouldn't be as draconian as it is.
Well, there are a lot of cuts of programs that are going to lose federal matching funds. That's one of the things we took a look at was, most specifically, the Earned Income Tax Credit. By dipping into the Earned Income Tax Credit, it amounts to a tax increase on the working families. There's also family planning, which is a 9-to-1 federal match. It's $7.4 million in the budget that he cut out, and that loses the 9-to-1 federal match. And he said he was a little confused, I think, earlier this week when he talked on a radio show about what that money would go for, and he said he didn't think family planning had anything to do with women's health, mammograms, but
was that an ideological position, do you think, that he's expressing?
I think he tried to make it an ideological position. I think those clinics, there's 58 clinics. They do mammograms and pap smears. I think 75,000 mammograms last year. And he seemed to tie it to the ideological position of anti-abortion position. And federal money can't be spent on abortion. It's illegal. So I think that was a little bit of a misunderstanding. And it's leaving money on the table that could help women get basic health care that they might not otherwise get because they can't afford insurance or for whatever reason.
Well, on all these things, it's really, you're saying that these are state co-pays to get federal money, if you will, here. But the state has been saying, the governor's been saying, we don't even have money for that, the co-pay, to get the federal money.
Sure. Well, I think when you're saving a dollar, when you're cutting a dollar to save a dollar, it's fine. But if you're cutting a dollar and losing 10, I think you need to reevaluate how important that is. And I think there's room in the budget for some of these smaller items that have such a tremendous effect on folks. I think they found room to put the general assistance grants back in for people who have no other means of support. There's federal money now that gives them $130 a month.
Well, the governor's total budget isn't that much different than what he proposed on here, but one of the things that you're saying is, well, you know, it could have been different if you had elected to go and raise money in different ways, one of which was the millionaire's tax, which, again, your predecessor, John Shore, for many years now has advocated this as a much fairer way, and some people might criticize your organization and say, wait a minute, those guys never see a tax they don't like.
Well, what we've advocated in the millionaire's tax is that there needs to be a rebalancing of taxes in New Jersey. People are upset about their property taxes, and rightly so. It's regressive. It's not based on any ability to pay.
Property tax.
Property tax. It's whatever somebody says your house is worth, you're assessed a tax on it. At least with income, there is some basis for the ability to pay. So, and if you take somebody in this economy who's making $1 million, they're doing certainly better than the 1 out of 10 people who don't even have a job. And we believe that it's fair and more progressive to add a 1-year surcharge to what those millionaires pay.
How much would that be, for instance, for a millionaire? How much more money for that individual?
Well, it's 16,000. It's 16,000 people. It's several $1,000s.
Okay.
No question. But say it takes somebody who's made $1 million. Say they own a McDonald's franchise. They're an S1 corporation. They work 16 hours a week. They work very hard. And they don't feel it's fair that they should be taxed more. But the people that they hired, the jobs they created, say it's a single mother who works at the counter for minimum wage, and she has 2 kids at home. She's going to pay more in taxes this year than she did last year, and the guy who owns the McDonald's is going to pay less in taxes this year than he did last year. And that is a disparity that needs to be addressed.
Do you think the money left on the table, about 30 seconds left here,
Sure.
money left on the table by the governor this time will be revisited for his next budget process, which starts in the fall?
I think there's always an opportunity to revisit, and it's always a good idea to revisit those things where you can find money to fund these essential programs. And we're not talking about luxuries. We're talking about essential basics, health care, and tax relief.
Okay. All right, very good. Deb Howlett from New Jersey Policy Perspective.
Policy Perspective.
Okay, I even stumbled when John would be here on it. NJPP, I always see on the stuff that comes to us. Anyway, thanks, Deb, for being with us. So that's it for this weekend's edition of New Jersey Power and Politics. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you next week.